Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the Dotcom magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series, and we have an amazing show today. I've been able to book the person that I call the king of virtual assistants on the show, Mr. Teo Vanyo. And Teo is the CEO and founder of an amazing company called Stealth Agents. And if you want to know about virtual assistants and how to spend much more of your day doing the things that are important to you versus the tasks that perhaps a virtual assistant can take on for you and your company, you're listening to the right show at the right time to help you increase your return on investment. Teo, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate being here.
This is so good to have you on the show. Again, the king of virtual assistants has joined us. Teo, let's get right into it. Let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet and tell us about Stealth Agents.
Yeah, for sure. So we're a virtual assistant company, and we help businesses grow by using rockstar top 1% talent from the Philippines to help them in their business. So we take the tasks that business owners, they don't want to do, or tasks that they don't have enough time in the day. And we help execute those tasks for them with an army of online workers that are cheap and affordable and efficient as well.
Teo, this is really an amazing concept. Virtual assistants has been around for a number of years, but what you've been able to do with Stealth Agents is really put entrepreneurs and business owners in the position to win, because your workers are really faster, cheaper, and you've got this wonderful ability to scale it very quickly for your entrepreneurs. So let's talk about the virtual assistants a little bit and Stealth Agents. When someone comes to you, Teo, and they say, hey, I need some virtual assistants, what's the process? How do you get them on board at Stealth Agents?
For sure. Great question, Andy. So pretty much how it works is we need to first know what your business is. We need to understand your business model and what you do, what it is, what are those tasks that you do each and every single day that prevents you from scaling, and most of us, when we first start in business, or even when we have different levels in business, we have different things that we need to do. Right. So when we're first starting, we're setting up our social media pages, we're setting up our websites, we're reaching out new clients. And then when we're in the middle stages, we're in a different stage. We're probably scaling and we don't have enough time on our hands. And so we only have, 24 hours in a day. And, a good number of that is working and sleeping and spending time with your families. And so what we try to do, and what we're doing right now for our clients in either any of those stages, is that we're taking a lot of the tasks from customer support to building websites, to outreach to new clients, to follow-ups with, in your sales process, that pipeline that you have. So we do all of those things. We even have some campaigns where we're actually closing the deals, depending on the campaign. If it's a super easy campaign, we're actually, our agents are actually going out there and onboarding new clients. And so we basically do it all. And so we've had, customers come back to us and they're like, we had a customer, her name is Natasha from VFresh. She was like, you know what, Teo, I spend 14 hours a day doing my customer support. And she's a very highly successful businesswoman. She's like, I spend 14 hours a day doing this. And I don't have enough time for my family, my kids, for my husband. And so this is where we came in, and we brought in 4 people for her, and we were able to take over everything. And she was just like, literally like tears down her face. She's like, oh my gosh, I have time for my family. I have time for my kids, and I'm able to do things now because I don't have to be there like all the time. And so that's what we do. That's our specialty. That's our superpower.
See, Teo, I love that. And that is your superpower. And you've got so many testimonials on your website and so many customers that actually love embracing what you're doing over at Stealth Agents. This idea of virtual assistants is such a wonderful idea because, like you said, in many of the examples on your website, what you just said, and with many of the examples on your website, there's so many people that reach out to Stealth Agents and they say, Teo, I need some support. I need some help. I can't do it all myself. And my team needs support because I know you're working with some bigger companies as well. What's the onboarding process like? Do they call you and talk to somebody at Stealth Agents and you ask them a number of questions and then you can sort of custom design a virtual assistant program for their needs?
Absolutely. So first, we find out what you do in your business. What are those tasks? The second thing is that we go to an onboarding call, and on that onboarding call, we basically dive deeper into your business. It's probably about like a 30-minute call, and we dive deeper into your business, and we find out, okay, what are those pain points? What are some things that you can automate, and what are some things that our team behind us specialize in a lot of these skills, especially in online marketing and digital marketing and customer support, appointment setting, all these things. How can we help you and how can we fit into your business? And so that's what we do in that onboarding call. After the onboarding call, we go into another call, which is an orientation and training call. And during this call, we have the agent and also a campaign manager join in to help understand exactly how we can execute on a day-to-day basis what it is that you need to do. So we also don't charge for the campaign manager. So I know a lot of other companies, they charge for like a management fee. We don't charge any management fees. You just pay for the agent and the management is taken care of for you. So all the SOPs and the documents and the videos that we're going to be creating and optimizing over time, the campaign manager is the one that takes care of that. And above the campaign manager, we have our operations director, which oversees everything to make sure that, number one, your workers are working. Number two, they're efficient. Number three, the reports are there on time. Number four, you're growing as a business. And so that's the most important thing for us, is that you're growing as a company, because as you grow, we're growing with you, as what we've been doing with all of our clients.
See, I love that, Teo. And your approach, and one of the things that has made Stealth Agents so successful, is the fact that you really make yourself a true partner for the companies that you bring on board. So maybe you could talk about that philosophy of why it's so important to make Stealth Agents a partner with your clients.
Absolutely. So, and it's very important to understand this philosophy, as what you're saying there, Andy, is that, when you bring in people into your organization, into your company, they become embedded in there over time. And, imagine you have someone in there that's been in there for like 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. They're embedded in your system. So it's very important that we keep the relationship going that way, where we understand every aspect of your business in the things that you need to outsource over to us. So what we do is we take care of every single one of our customers like it's our business, like we're running our own business, right? And I've taken many businesses to 7 figures over the past few years, and even multiple businesses. And so we take care of your business like it's our business. And so that's why our customers love us. And that's why, we have all these different testimonials of people saying that, I come to Teo when we want to scale, and this is the reason why we're so successful as a company, is because we understand the empathy map of our customers. We understand where our customers are coming from. We understand that, it's your mission to be inside of your genius zone as a CEO versus doing all these tasks yourself. And so that's where we come in.
I love that, Teo. Now, you mentioned that not only do your virtual assistants do a lot of the, assisting for a company, but you actually have some campaigns where you actually, let's say, close the deal for your companies. And I really like hearing that. But let's talk about that a little bit, because we're going to have entrepreneurs, startup founders, Inc. 5000, Fortune 500 people, C-level executives watching and hearing the show, and they're going to start thinking to themselves, what's sort of the price point of offering that makes sense for them to contact you, for you to handle everything, including closing the deal. So in other words, can a company have a $100 offering where it makes sense to hire Stealth Agents to close the deal, or do they need $1,000 or a $10,000 or $100,000 offering to hire you to do everything from soup to nuts?
All right. So in terms of closing the deal, It depends on the campaign. So for example, we do a lot of abandoned cart calls. And so if you're a Shopify store, you're an e-commerce store and you have a lot of these abandoned carts, which it's pretty normal. What we do is we pick up the phone and we call your customers and we give them an offer. And we give them a 35% off discount. We give them a free hat. We give them a free mug. We give them X amount. If you spend this amount, we're going to give you this. If you buy this product, this shirt, I want to let you know about our other offer here. And it's a phone only offer. And so these are the times where we actually close the deals over the phones. We actually have a number of clients. Actually, I've created this on our blog post. So if you go to our blog, you're going to be able to see it and the numbers as well, where some of our clients we're getting anywhere from 5x to 20x return. Insane. Just by calling abandoned carts and recovering those carts. And so that's one of the campaigns that we do. Another campaign in terms of price points, if it's an easy sell, if it's something that just needs, questions answered, and you have a documentation, we can also help with creating the SOPs and the documentation with our team because we're trained to doing that. And once we do that, you ask a few questions, and at the end, it's like a pitch for like, I don't know, $35, $100, even $1,000. Is this something that you're looking forward to? And they say yes. Okay, I can take your payment right now, or I can send you more information and details on how to do that. And so we automate the entire process for our customers.
See, I love that, Teo. And talking about the abandoned cart situation, just the money lost from companies not following up with their abandoned cart internationally is probably in the billions of dollars. So for those companies that have a cart that do get abandoned, don't let those abandoned carts just kind of float away and go do business elsewhere. Hire a company like Stealth Agents, and hire a company as powerful as Stealth Agents to follow up on those abandoned carts, and you'll get an incredible return on investment. And that's really the power of the Stealth Agent concept with Stealth Agents. So, the world is flat right now, Teo, and when people are doing digital marketing and they're doing email follow-up, et cetera, it doesn't matter what part of the world they're in, and it doesn't really matter what part of the world they're in with follow-up phone calls, as long as they can speak in the language of which they're following up the people with. So you have a wonderful group in the Philippines. I know you've got people all over the world. Maybe you can touch on that a little bit and tell us how it's all set up.
For sure. So our setup is virtual and remote in the Philippines, and we have our headquarters here in New Jersey. And pretty much when, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, as long as you have access to, if your business is online, we can help with that. We've actually helped businesses that are also offline as well, from logistics, setting up, but everything is pretty much online. So wherever you are in the world, like you were talking about abandoned carts. Now, abandoned carts, they're all online, right? Back in the days, back when you were, before the online stuff, you had like customers coming into your retail shop, and they would see something, they would leave, and you would have their email address or phone number, and then you would call them that way. Now everything is digital, and that's the world that we're living in right now. As more and more companies are going digital, there's going to be more of I would say like a call for need for virtual assistants and a need for help online. And how we have it all set up is that we train our agents we find our agents first. We have a huge pool of agents that we sift through, and we make sure that we have good talent. So as we put the agents in your campaign, and it doesn't matter if you're in the US or if you're in Europe, we have clients all over the world. So we put in an agent in your campaign that's fully trained, that has prior experience and background knowledge and experience in your industry. We put them in there so that they can work as best as possible for your campaign. So going back to having an international client base, we have clients from the US, from Australia, Europe, to like Asia, South America, Canada, pretty much everywhere. And so that's the beauty of this, is it's anything digital, we can handle it for you.
I love that. And one of the things that you've really put at the forefront of your business is that your workers, your virtual agents, your stealth agents are faster, cheaper, and scalable. Let's talk about the scalable component of that just for a minute. So you have a client that comes in, you're knocking the cover off the ball for them, Teo, as many of your testimonials on your website show that you are. And they come back and they say, Teo, we need to scale this. We want to bring on another 10 or 20 agents to really blow this thing up in a good way. How long does that take to scale for a company that's a client of yours?
That's a very good question, Andy. So if we've had a lot of clients do this where they start out with one or two and then they go to 20. Okay. So how that entire process works is we have created these systems and we've created folders and we have a whole system on our back end, an LMS, you would say, learning management system, where we can train any employee within like a week or two, usually like about a week, and they can get right into your campaign and get going right away. So how it works is our campaign managers, the one that you're going to be talking to, if you have 2 or 3 or 4 people, you want to go to 20, what they'll do is they'll give you an exact time frame of how long that will take based on how many people we currently have in our pool and how many people that it usually takes for us to get to, let's say 20 or 30 or 40. If you're talking about 10 or 20, we could probably do that in about a week. And we can get people in there trained and knowing your campaign. We also have team leads inside of this structure. So as you're increasing the number of agents, we have a structure of team leads. The best people on that campaign will become team leads, and they'll also become mentors to the other ones that are just getting started. And so that's why we've had a lot of success in scaling a lot of these companies, is because of the system and the structure that we have internally that we've built over the past 12 years of me doing this.
That's incredible. And you mentioned 12 years, Teo, and we have a lot of younger entrepreneurs that tune into the show, as well as more mature and successful entrepreneurs. It runs the gamut. But you've been with Stealth Agents and founded Stealth Agents a number of years ago. You've become a very successful entrepreneur yourself. I call you the king of virtual assistants. And for the younger entrepreneurs that are watching the show and listening to the show, and they're watching someone like you that built something so sound and so solid, maybe you could share with them some concepts or ideas about what it means to be an entrepreneur and what happens early on when maybe things don't go exactly the way you expected, and how you have been able to deal with that and move that forward and use those sort of missteps as a way to empower yourself and learn from those experiences.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that question because, 12 years of doing this, I failed a lot. I have a lot of failures, and I'm pretty sure everyone here is like nodding their heads or smiling. They're like, yeah, I failed too. So I failed a lot. And so those failures were kind of like stepping stones, right? And I talk about levels all the time. There are different levels in entrepreneurship that everyone goes through. And there's a really good book out there called Scaling Up. I'd highly recommend you read it, check it out. And they talk about these levels. So the first level is you're getting started. You're fresh, you're in there. And this was me like 12 years ago, right? I was fresh. I had no idea what I was doing. And I've had a lot of ups and downs, even to the point where I had my car repossessed and so I had to learn from then on. I learned from this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He talked about priming your mindset, figuring out what is it that you want in life. So let's talk about the levels here in a second. So the first level is every entrepreneur goes into the business because they're either, number one, they're sick and tired of struggling. Okay. Number two, for survival. And number three, they just want a better life. And so this is the first level that I've seen many entrepreneurs begin with. The second level is you've made it. You've done it. You've made your 7 figures and more. You've done it. And so now you're at the stage of, where do I go next? What is my mission? What is my purpose? And then you get to the next level, right? The next stage where it's all purpose driven. It's all basically mission focused. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm all mission focused. And so my purpose in building stealth agents is two things. Number one, creating jobs. And so I have a very big passion about creating jobs. Number two is to blessing the lives of those families that I've helped create jobs for. I've hired thousands of people throughout my lifetime. And so, and throughout my career, right? So that purpose alone is what drives me to keep moving forward. The money aspect is more of like a byproduct. When you provide value in the world, the money will just come. But you get to a certain level where it's like, yeah, I could buy the Lamborghinis and all this stuff, but I don't want to do that. Like I've gotten to a level where it's like, I'd rather spend the money on my purpose and what makes me happy. And so these are some of the levels that entrepreneurs will face in their lives. And you see this all around you. You see this if you hang around with, Jim Rohn said, if you hang around with the top 5 people, you eventually become them. Right. And so I've been immersing myself in billionaires, and I'm seeing what are the things that these billionaires are doing. And what they're doing is they're focused on providing a lot of value in the world. And so that's what I want to do. I want to provide a lot of value in the world. And so by providing jobs and blessing the lives of others, that's what really drives me. I've made a lot of money in my career, and to the point where, I came from nothing. I came from a background where I was a poor kid in Queens, New York, and I didn't know what money was. And I was never taught what money was. I was never taught how to make it, how to keep it, how to save it, how to multiply it. I was never taught any of those things until I leaped into entrepreneurship and found these levels. So it's quite interesting how that all worked, but this is where I'm at right now, Andy.
I love it. And you're obviously in a very good place with what you're doing at Stealth. Let me ask you a question, because you mentioned mentorship. You mentioned sort of surrounding yourself with people that you can learn from, and people that are wise, and they're going to be able to give you good advice. As you've been building stealth agents, how important has that been to you? And for the younger entrepreneurs watching and listening to the show, do you feel that they should also look for good mentors to help them along the way?
Absolutely. That's probably the success element to bringing someone up those levels. So to give you an idea, the first time I ever did this, and I had virtual assistants and everything throughout the entire time. So I had help the entire time. But going through these levels, I've always had a mentor. I've had a mentor for my first 6 figures. I had a mentor for my first 7 figures, and I had a company that went to 8 figures, and that's another mentor, right? And so I've had all of these different mentors all throughout my past, and I would say that's been the key to success in building a business. And some people will say, find mentors in your industry. As a matter of fact, one of my mentors said, find a mentor that's not in your industry. Find someone that is outside of your industry and see what type of value they could give you, because the ones that are already in your industry, they might have hit a cap or something, but someone that is outside of your industry, they might be giving you value and information that you would have never thought about. And so I'm all about innovation. I'm all about creating new things and building things, breaking them, fixing them. And if I fix them, never to have it break again. And so that's the foundation of how we built Stealth Agents. Is we've broken a lot of things and we fixed them. And when we fixed them, we made sure that it wasn't broken again. And so learning from mentors, knowing that simple concept right there, learning that from a mentor, learning the concepts of levels from another mentor, learning the concepts of scaling. These are some of the things that you need to understand. Now, the virtual assistants, they're just a tool to use. They're your backbone in your business, the people in your business that will help you. But if you don't have the direction or the mentorship behind it or where you want to go, utilizing a tool to get to somewhere won't be as effective as if you had some experience and knowledge of what other mentors have been telling you.
Yeah, I love that. That's absolutely unbelievable, Teo, and that's a real testament to your success. Let's talk about Stealth Agents in a little bit different way now, because we have a number of different types of entrepreneurs that watch the show. They're in different spaces. They might sell a product. They might sell a service. They might do B2B. They might do B2C. There's all types of people watching the show, and there's all types of companies that need stealth agents. So let's sort of jog their minds a little bit, because we spoke about the shopping cart experience and how you help those companies that have those abandoned shopping carts. And let's talk about some other types of companies that you can help. And maybe that will jog the thought process of this entrepreneurs that are watching the show, and they'll say to themselves, I never thought about that. I really could use a virtual assistant or stealth agents to help my company. So let's talk about some other spaces that you've been able to impact in a powerful way to help our entrepreneurs understand the breadth of what you can do at Stealth Agents.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So we go back to the abandoned cart, analogy. When someone leaves your pipeline, think of it as an abandoned cart, right? When someone stops, emailing you back, that's an abandoned cart. So there's many different ways where we utilize our own agents for our own outreach as well for other clients. So for example, we use LinkedIn. Okay. We have a team, I would say like a small militia army, a team of people on LinkedIn outreaching to clients each and every single day. And so we have a team on Facebook outreaching to clients, joining different groups, engaging in groups. Imagine if you did this every single day yourself, right? I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs, they still do. They, no matter what levels they are, they still go into the groups, they interact with the Facebook groups, and they do this themselves. But what if you had a team that actually did this for you? A team of, let's say you multiplied yourself 10x, 20x, 20 people, right? That's what we do. And that's how we were able to grow exponentially even in the past 6 months. We were able to grow exponentially 5x within in terms of revenue in the past 5 months, because we were able to innovate with these different markets. So we use Twitter. Imagine you have an army of Twitter, a little army of Twitter that goes out there and either does the research for you, pulls information, whether you're in the stock market, you want to find out what are the hottest stocks right now people are talking about, pull information from the stock market. If you're trying to pull information from what is Elon Musk saying at every single minute of the day, you have someone pull that information, put it in a spreadsheet. What is Bill Gates saying? Put it in a spreadsheet. At the end of the day, you have a nice little spreadsheet where you can just read your report. At the end of the day, what is the market saying? What are my competitors doing? What are the every movements that they're doing? Now, AI is coming out, right? AI is coming out. It's coming in hot, but there's also a need for human touch, that human element that AI can't really do. For example, the human element, the human touch of, knowing if a certain market is going a certain way, and what other people in that industry are saying, in different influencers, and just having that human interaction, that's something that's still going to be around for a very, very long time. So there's a lot of things that our virtual assistant can do. Just think about, what is it that you have in your mind that's on your Trello board, your Asana board, what is it that you have in your mind that you're like, okay, I want to do this, but I never really got to this because we're just so busy. I want to get to this, but how can we do this and multiply that as well? And that's what we're very efficient in. For example, another one is, social media platforms like Instagram. How many of your customers, either B2B, B2C, are on Instagram? How many of them interact with the text message and, even if you send a voice message, voice interaction message through Instagram to your potential customers, how many of your customers are on Instagram? Whether you're a coach, consultant, a roofer, or a doctor, how many of your customers are on Instagram? If you're a roofer, you go and you find people in your area, you find if they're posting pictures of their house, you have one of our agents hit them up and say, hey, looks like you have a nice home, but by the way, and then they start interacting and start that conversation, and then move that conversation over to an appointment to get their roof checked. Okay, there's so many different possibilities for this.
You see, just what you said right there is going to blow some minds up of the people watching the show. So what I'm recommending for the people watching and listening, just based on what Teo just mentioned, I'm sure your mind now is sort of machinating all these possibilities for your company to grow the company. I recommend you reach out to Teo and his team, because they're going to give you a great, honest look at where you're at and where the virtual assistant, where stealth agents can take you. And they're going to work on that with you. And that's one of the features of working with stealth agents, is they're going to talk to you. They're going to learn about your business. They're going to tell you what they think they can do for you in a collaborative effort. And they're going to be actually become part of sort of your team. And something that's very interesting, Teo, that I'm thinking about now out loud is the whole idea of virtual, just that word virtual. I'm thinking everything's virtual now. So we might be just dropping the name virtual eventually, and people are just going to think of these people as just assistants as part of their company. And that seems to be sort of the next evolution here. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, though, 100%. I mean, you take a look at, some of these companies like Zoom. In our society right now, this is where it's going. Everything is online. Everything is digital. It's the new age of how we, work and interact online. It's everything. Everything is digital. So I think it's going to keep going even further. And there's going to be a bigger need for assistance for a team online, and a lot of times, like we used to have an office, but we went full virtual, and is actually the best thing that I've ever done. We actually increased productivity by 20%, because when we had the office in the Philippines, what tended to happen was, we had there was a lot of hey, can you pass me the tape? Hey, what's this? And there's a lot of that happening. We learned how to cut that time in half by using tools and productivity tools like Loom, for example. Shoot a quick 5-minute video on Loom. Your entire team gets it. You can see who viewed it. Boom. No more 30 minutes, hour meetings. No more of that. It's a quick 5-minute video from Loom, and everyone gets it. Everyone's got the memo, and they're off to the races, And so this is where we're heading. As a society, we're becoming more and more efficient. We're becoming more and more productive, and we're learning new things. We're evolving, I would say, from the old ways of what we used to do.
I love it. I love it. There's so much great technology out there to help companies get to where they want to go. Teo, when I was scheduling this interview with you, I was very excited to get the person who I call the king of virtual assistants on the show. You've really given us a good idea of the many applications that virtual assistants can help with. Your testimonials and your success speaks for itself, and anybody that needs to have more workers that are able to work faster, cheaper, and also in a scalable way, obviously they're going to want to reach out to you, Teo. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you at Stealth Agents and talk to your team to get this whole process going?
Awesome. Thank you so much for this, Andy. I really appreciate this call. Really appreciate being on here. So in order to reach out to us, head over to our website, stealthagents.com, and submit your requirements. It's just put in your name, your email, and your requirements, and someone will reach out to you. Usually if it's Monday to Friday, they're going to reach out to you within 5-10 minutes or even less. And so go ahead and reach out to them. And also we have a chat in our website as well that you can use to reach out to our agents and get it going for you guys. Thank you so much.
Teo, I love it. I love it. This has been a great interview. I really appreciate learning more about what you do over there. Congratulations on your success. I know that you take great care of your customers, and that's your number one mission. And again, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Andy. Really appreciate it.